So as I'm recording this, it is August the 3rd, 2023, and the fabled UPS strike did not happen. As you can see, I'm going into work. A strike was avoided at the 11th hour, I think on July 25th. They came to an agreement sometime that morning. The deadline was 12:01 a.m. August the 1st to get come up with some sort of deal. And the thing is, like, we actually have what we call feeder drivers. Those are the guys that drive the big tractor trailer box trucks, and they're the ones that actually move the packages from like warehouse to warehouse, hub to hub. And they work in shifts around the clock. And somebody, a union rep, told them at a union meeting we had, like, hey, if you're on the road at 12:01 a.m., pull that thing over and park it at a truck stop. You know, lock it up, and a union rep will come and pick you up and take you over to the warehouse to turn in the keys. So the union was serious about this. They dug their heels in, and a lot of people have been wondering, well, what were the hang-ups in the union meetings and all of that? From what I can piece together as somebody on the ground who's in the union, who talks to union guys and listens a whole lot, you know, the biggest thing that was the part of contention, the driver's contract was already agreed upon. You know, you're going to get a $5 raise across 5 years, so $1 a year for 5 years. You know, that was pretty good. A little bit of extra health benefits. There was something in there about if you're hurt, even when you're not working, you can still be entitled to some workman's comp or something equivalent to that while you're out of work. Which I really needed that after I had a hernia. You know, that would have helped out a lot. But now that's part of the healthcare plan and all of that. So we got a little bit better benefits. The biggest point of contention was what should be done about part-time workers. In case you don't know, the people who actually load the trucks in the morning, I don't load my own truck. There's a crew that comes in called preload. They load up everything. They work from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. if it's really heavy. And that's basically January through October, working 4 or 5 hour shifts as a part-time worker. After a year, you get like full-time benefits, like healthcare, dental, vision, the whole nine. You get it all. So it's a pretty good part-time gig to have. There's tons of dudes up there that work preload in the morning and then they go have a day job, and that's where the money is. And they just do preload literally just for the benefits. There's one guy, his wife works for, she's like some big shot at the local hospital system over here in Greenville, Bon Secours. And she's like an executive with that. She brings home like 6 figures. And there's a guy who works preload, and he's what they call a trailer shifter. He moves the trailers that come on the yard from the feeders. He takes those and backs them up to the dock so they can be unloaded and sorted, and then go down the belt so preload can load them onto the package trucks. But he literally just shifts trailers in the morning for like 5 hours a day just for the benefits, because the benefits that UPS offers are so much better than what the actual hospital gives her. So they went with his Blue Cross Blue Shield plan with UPS rather than what Bon Secours was offering. So that should tell you something about how good a union is. When the regular rank and file union people can get a better healthcare plan than an executive working in a hospital system, unions work, buddy. They work. I don't know what else to tell you. But the biggest point of contention was the union wanted $30 an hour starting pay for part-time workers. Right now it's $14. The thing that was negotiated on and agreed upon was $24 an hour, which when I started out driving, that's what I got paid, $24.50 an hour. That was my base pay when I first got started driving. You know, now I've been with the company, after 4 years, you automatically go to peak pay. So I make $41.49 an hour right now. I feel comfortable telling people about what I make because, you know, part of the union is it's not necessarily public per se, like they don't publish it online, but it's so widely well known it might as well be public. So yeah, I make $41.49 an hour, and I started off at $24 an hour back in 2016. Since then, this is the second union contract I've been through, and there were little rumblings in August of 2018, 2019 about, a strike for this union contract or something like that, but that ended up blowing over. We did get some raises out of that, but since then there have been new union presidents elected, and there are some hardliners, like I think the head guy used to be like a former Marine drill instructor, and he's like very serious about this type of stuff. But a lot of people have said, $24 an hour, that's ridiculous for a part-time worker. I can't believe that. I said earlier that you were expected to work 4 or 5 hour shifts early in the morning from January through October. From November through December, you were expected to work full-time all of a sudden. 6 days a week. So when I was a preloader, we would start at 1 a.m. and we would work till 9 a.m. So that was an 8-hour shift. 6 days a week we would do that. And telling your other job to basically go kick rocks for 2 months so that, you can go be UPS's full-time guy for 2 months and then finally drop back down to part-time again and then go back and get your other job that you had. That's kind of a big ask. And preload is not easy. It is not easy. It is one of the fastest paced jobs I've ever had. When I first started working preload, I lost 20 pounds in 4 or 5 months. Like the pounds just fell off. I was 24 years old when I started this job up at UPS. So yeah, having a secondary or primary job, which is your main source of income, basically being sidelined for 2 months so that you can go work, your paltry $14 an hour preload job, which is now an 8-hour job for 2 months. That kind of sucks, and we always have a problem with personnel right around Christmas time. We don't have enough preloaders. And, the company was adamant about that's too much. But right now, as we speak, we have a preloader shortage. So to make up for that, they're asking us drivers to come in and volunteer. Now, we don't volunteer for no $14 an hour. We volunteer at driver pay. So just understand, when they say, I can't believe it's $24 an hour, they were asking for $30 an hour. That's ridiculous. Just remember, they were offering me $41.49 an hour to go work preload. And then they turn around and they say, well, $30 an hour is too much. Well, you're having trouble getting people to take this job at $14 an hour. You obviously need to bump the pay up because what you're asking of people is too much. And they say, well, $30 an hour is too much. Remember, you can't get enough people to fill in the ranks, so you're paying me damn near $42 an hour to do that. And then guess what? I remain on the clock. I work my 4-hour shift on preload. Then I go drive the truck. So after 4 hours, we started at 9 a.m. So after, 1 p.m., guess what? I'm on overtime now. It's been 8 hours on the clock for me. After 1 p.m., I'm on overtime. And I'll be out there till 5, 6 p.m., getting 4 or 5 hours, just straight overtime pay a day. So it's not even paying a preloader $41.49 an hour. You're also paying me something like $60 an hour after 1 p.m. to go out there and drive the truck. This then led to what was the turning point in the negotiations. There was some big Wall Street investor wrote an open letter to the CEO of UPS and basically told her in no uncertain terms, what are you doing? Sign the contract. Stop being stupid. Stop tanking the stocks. Stop tanking the U.S. economy, because if UPS stops, the entire economy goes with it, because people still need their stuff, and Amazon, the Postal Service, and FedEx are not big enough to fill in the gap that UPS would leave in its wake. So there would be tons and tons and tons of stuff that would just stop. You know, if you get medication through UPS, next day air packages, if you're at a hospital, and I've delivered organ transplants before. You know, I've delivered vaccines, I've delivered narcotics and stuff. All that stops. All those medications stop. And now you have to go hope that FedEx has enough free volume to fill in the gaps. And some people have said, like, oh, that proves unions are too powerful. The fact they could bring the entire U.S. economy down to its knees. That's not the That's not the union being too powerful. That's UPS being too powerful. Maybe if a company is so big that the entire U.S. economy hinges around it, maybe that company's too big. You know, maybe all those mergers and stuff by the FTC shouldn't have been approved. You know, the FTC and all these government regulators that approve mergers and all that type of stuff. You know, they're always headed by some big business tycoon, some executive, and then they just rubber stamp everything, and then the companies get like gigantic. And so that's why these companies freak out when their workers start talking about unionization, because they're like, oh my God, the workers have way too much leverage because our company is so big. You know, it was like the railroad workers strike that got threatened. You know, the railroads are just so few in number that if just a few of their unions decided to go on strike, it would bring the country down to its knees. Well, maybe we shouldn't have approved all those mergers then, and we should have had more competition and more different railroads out there operating. Maybe that's what we should have done. I don't know. But anyway, while UPS gets record-setting profits and all of that, you know, I think I deserve record-setting pay increases. Just a thought, you know. I've always been told my whole life about trickle-down economics. You know, when the billion-dollar companies make a lot of money, that trickles down to the rest of us. Well, unions are just there to make sure that that actually happens. Without a union, that doesn't happen. You know, no business is going to give you a pay raise out of the goodness of their heart. They ain't going to do it because you ask politely. They're going to do it because they think they have no other option. And unions provide the nuclear option. Like, hey, we shut down the company, or you give us our fair share of the money. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats. If all those boats get water, not just the yachts. Unions make sure that all boats get water. Just the way it goes. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am getting AC in new vehicles that we have issued to us. The old ones will not be retrofitted, but all the old ones do get retrofitted with fans and stuff, so that's nice. I've worked in the summer in a truck that had no fan in it, and that really sucked. Really sucked. Temps that go up to like 133 degrees is the highest I've seen. I worked a 100-degree day, and I'm willing to bet it was probably about 140 inside the back of that truck. I would like the AC to be in the back of the truck rather than the cab. You know, just because we deliver so much food and stuff that has like dry ice in it. There's vaccines and people's medication back there that's packed up in coolers and stuff. I'd like AC in the back of the truck because that helps all of that, helps our customers and all that. And I spend probably most of my time back there sifting through packages, sorting, organizing, and just trying to find the next stop and all that. But you know what? It is what it is. We'll take our victories where we can get them. This was certainly a victory. There's some other, you know, bits and doodads added in here and there that really only concern UPS drivers, and it's more technical stuff than I really want to get into right now. But I'm about to pull into work over here. So yeah, that's how the UPS strike was avoided. That was the cause of it. That is basically the nitty-gritty of how it all went down. You know, my contract was agreed upon way ahead of time. It was mostly the part-time contract. And there were some guys who were like, I'm not going on strike for no part-timers. But look, we all started off as part-timers. That's the gateway. You know, those guys deserve to get paid. And some people say, oh, well, I didn't get paid that much. Like, well, man, times changed. UPS is making more money now. And again, rising tide should lift all boats. You know, it's just... yeah, it's amazing that we need unions to make sure that the billionaires keep the promises they made, because they ain't going to do it themselves. Anyway, I'm parking here. Peace.